Okay, now, today we will be going over semen retention, sex transmutation, whatever you want to call it. Now, I first learned about this. There was two people I can distinctly remember that made me start thinking about semen retention and like look into it, live by it, all that good stuff. The first one, I can't even remember which was first, but the two people was Napoleon Hill and Kevin Gates. Now, I believe Kevin Gates was the first one I heard, but Napoleon Hill was the first one to put it into like science. And like, he really had a formula to it. Like, it helps with this, that, and the third. So those two guys were the two main people. Kevin Gates is obviously a hip hop artist, and Napoleon Hill is a historic writer. He used to follow around some of the biggest, businessmen, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and just write about them, like what makes these guys successful. Semen retention was actually in Napoleon Hill's famous book, Think and Grow Rich. And it's actually not under semen retention, it's under sex transmutation. Basically, when you refrain yourself from having sex, that sexual energy, they say, is the most powerful energy. You can put it into something else, whether that's basketball, football, whatever the case may be. So there's a lot. I'm not a super expert on it, and I've been trying to perfect this since I was probably for about 3-4 years now. And my longest streak hasn't been that long. But from this date, I'm going to do a test for me right now. From this date, from me making this video. And we're going to try to pull it off as long as we can. But let's go over some of the guys that I studied that really put me onto this. Here's Kevin Gates. This is a clip I saved.
Ooh, like I love to be stimulated mentally. Because I noticed my neural path started changing. I used to, beautiful I was at one time. Yeah. I used to be watching porn, talking about, man, that nigga killing that old son. And I used to sit there and masturbate and watch porn. I used to sneak and do it till one time his brother had told me, he say, you know, that's self-mutilation. He said, you celebrating you jabbing up to another man's success. Oh. There's other ways to stimulate yourself mentally. And then he started telling me about sex transmutation, where you can take that sexual energy and channel it into your workouts, into your craft, into your music. You can channel it into whatever it is that you focused on at the time. And that's when I was like, that's crazy. Like, if you pleasure driven, you develop addictions. If you purpose driven, you develop riches. And not just with wealth of the pocket, but of the heart and of the mind. Yeah. It's like I'm a freak for like new information. Like I love to be stimulated mentally. Right. Like I love conversations that leave me feeling refreshed. Right. We're not particular about energy in the way that we should be, because sometimes I say, I'm held responsible for the places that I place myself. But that's physically. Right. But I've been working with this other guy. You know what the fascia is? Mm-hmm. So we've been working on like releasing like certain traumas in your fascia. Like, and we've been working on that. And he told me something that was so beautiful. He said the physical, the mental, the spiritual is all one system. One thing's off, everything's off. And I said, wow. And it intrigued me to the point I was like, I'm not overprotective of myself where I place myself energetically and spiritually and psychologically. I need to start being more cognitive in these areas. Physically, I know certain areas and certain places I'm not going to place myself, but it's certain places I shouldn't even place myself energetically. I never thought all spiritually, all psychologically. And I was like, you know what? It's not because I feel like I'm better. It's because I know I am. I don't watch porn because I noticed my neural path started changing. I used to.
So yeah, man. Kevin Gates is deep. He gets super deep. You've seen like the last 45 seconds. He started going super deep. But Kevin Gates, yeah, he's one of those guys who speaks on it. Let's go to YouTube. Let's see Because there's a lot of stuff. Let's go to my guy, Napoleon Hill. Napoleon. I think this is from his book. I believe this is my guy, Napoleon Hill. I believe this is from his book. Now let's listen to what he has to say.
You could transmute that emotion over to something else, putting it back of your business or your profession or your job, and have just as much emotional feeling about attaining success in your job as you could about selling yourself to the one of your choice. Don't you think you could do that? You know what that word transmute means, by the way? Do you? What does it mean? Fine. Fine. Marvelous. Have you ever tried it on anything or anybody? Marvelous. Marvelous. If you haven't tried it, start trying it. Next time you feel moody or discouraged, try to change that over into an emotion of courage and faith. See what a marvelous thing happens.
Turn it into an emotion of courage and faith.
And your whole body. And you'll be much more effective. Breaks the great emotion of sex, gets more people into trouble than all the other emotions combined. And yet it's the most creative, the most profound, and the most divine of all of the emotions. It's not the emotion that gets people in trouble. It's their lack of controlling it and directing it, transmuting it, which they would be readily able to do if they had self-discipline. So it is with other faculties of the body and the mind. It's not that you have to change completely. It's just that you have to be the master. You have to be in control. You have to recognize the things that you must do in order to have sound health and peace of mind. It also means the development of daily habits by which the mind is kept busy in connection with the things and the circumstances that one desires and off the circumstances one does not desire. It means that you will not accept or submit to the influence of any circumstance or thing you do not desire. Nothing at all. Don't submit.
So yeah, man, my guy Napoleon Hill, he gives a lot of game on this as well. But let's go over some of the quotes that's out there on semen retention. Sex is often an attempt to entertain oneself through one's own genitals, through the use of someone else's genitals. Couldn't have said that better. And I love how Kevin Gates said, stop. You're pleasing yourself to another man's success. Who wants to, think about how, as a man though, as a competitive man, this is for my men out there who compete. I play sports. I always been competitive with everything I do, even wanting to get girls, all that stuff. But think about as a man, you jerking off to another man having sex. Somebody he had to court, he had to work hard to attract, whether he was fly already, whether he was good in character, whether he pulled her with conversation, however you pulled her, he's the one who put in that work. He's the one who put himself out there, who talked to her, made her feel comfortable, and then eventually had the pleasure of having intercourse with this woman. Who are you to think you can just come through and jerk off and watch another man's penis? You wouldn't, if a man just pulled out his thing, you wouldn't want to see that. You're literally, when you jerk off, you're literally controlled by your penis. You're literally controlled by that. I remember that saying, stop thinking with your D. And I used to think it was so, you heard it so much because it's watered down, but I see it now. And a big thing in our generation is corn. It's corn. Because never before have we had a phone who can pull up the baddest woman on planet Earth. Think about that. We could have a phone, pull up our phone that pulls the baddest woman we ever seen in life. Thick, 23, 24 years old, fine, good skin, just the baddest you ever seen. And they'll not only be on there twerking, little clothes, They might have an OnlyFans. They might have a Twitter with all this stuff. So this stuff is, we never had this before. So the devil is upon us. But I never met somebody who said they like how their soul feels after they ejaculate. J off. I never, ever, ever seen it. Every time I do it, I feel disgusted with myself. Every time. It's like eating a nasty meal that you shouldn't be eating. It's like doing like, there's nothing worse than jerking off. And that after feeling, you just feel you feel ugly inside. You know how, I go to the gym and every time I leave the gym, I feel good. I feel more handsome. I feel just more successful. Jerking off does the opposite. It does the opposite. So we got to be able to control ourselves, man, because this is a lot of the reason why the power isn't in men no more. The power really is in women. They really dictate the cool. Whatever they like, all the guys start doing. They really control most relationships, especially on the average level. If you're just an average guy, and come on now, women are the one with the power in the sexual marketplace, especially if they under 25. So yeah, we gotta start putting the power back in men. Let's read some other of these. Imagination is all too often wasted on masturbation. Most women have a problem with being seen as a sex object by men, or so they claim, but do not have a problem with benefiting from or even exploiting their being seen as a sex object by a man. That's true. Women don't want you to go in their DM and be like on the Facebook dating app, I'll see stuff like, y'all do too much. Y'all horny. N-words, need to relax, all that stuff. But, they like it. Well, I ain't gonna say they like it. They'll use it. They'll use it to get money off you. They'll use it to whatever. They'll use it to their advantage. And here we go. Now we're getting more into the science. An ejaculation is a waste of nutrients unless it leads to pregnancy and intentionally. Shoot, think about it. Most species, we're probably like the main species that abuses sex. Let's look up some of Napoleon Hill, because he has amazing quotes on this. I've never seen somebody dissect it like him. Okay. Sex energy. This is Napoleon Hill. Sex energy is the most creative of all emotions. When harnessed and redirected, this motivating force maintains all of its attributes of keenness of imagination, courage, etc., which may be used as powerful creative forces. The emotion of sex contains the secret of ability to transmute physical desire into channels of a constructive character. A person who has not learned the art of sex transmutation is usually little better than an animal. Think about if you control your sex. Think about the advantage you have in life. You're not paying for pee all the time. You're not paying for a woman to have intercourse with you. You're not tricking. You're not trying to get unnecessary attention. You're not buying OnlyFans. You got people out here actually investing in OnlyFans. Like, they're consistent, like it's like a YouTube subscription. That is sick, bro. You got people who paying for phone calls for somebody to strip and show themselves. That is sick. Not only that, I done seen women who's about 18. These young women, Twitter will show you it all. Twitter done unlock Twitter, and that's another story within itself. Twitter does too much, because back then, before Twitter, You would have to watch ads. You got to log into a site now, bro. You can go on Twitter and just scroll and see it's TikTok corn. This stuff is serious, bro. We in a different time, and I know this type of studies will be around for a while. I actually want to end it on this. My guy, Robert Greene, author of 48 Laws of Power, he spoke on this and he said something. Let's see if he says it in here.
It could be for 3 months, but it enriches you. It makes you more human. It's not just pornography. There's too much of that in social media as well on other levels. You have to understand what it means to be a human being.
And I like that because Instagram is soft corn. Instagram is soft corn. TikTok, oh my God, TikTok. I never see every girl on there from all ages, and it's sick. I didn't call my little sister on TikTok doing inappropriate stuff, and I'm like, yo, you can't. No, we can't do that.
First of all, and we're physical animals. We can't be in our heads all the time. We think with our bodies, right? We think with the chemicals mixing in our bodies. We're very physical and we're social animals to the core. And that social animal, what makes us superior is that we connect. I can kind of look at you and I can maybe understand what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and we can have a discussion and our ideas can go back and forth and connect and go to higher levels of understanding or lower levels of disagreement. But that's what it means to be a human being. You're not this fucking AI machine. You're not a bot. You're not an algorithm. You're not a little piece of data that Mark Zuckerberg can mix with. You're a human being with a body, with physical problems, with hormones, with emotions that are coursing through you. And you have to become a physical creature, which means doing things in the world, taking action, working, building a business, doing things with your hands, exercise, meeting people. Be inside of your bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in pornography, you're disembodied. You're not in your body. You might be wanking off, as far as I know, probably are, but you're not really inside of your body in any meaningful way.
Yep.
And so
it's like you turn into a zombie.
My hope, if there's any hope, is that, and there's seeds of it in the world now, where young people are going to start getting disgusted with this because the human spirit is still very powerful.
The human spirit is still very powerful. I like how he said that. Like, people are as good as the feeling of, pleasing yourself, as good as it feels in the moment, it has a disgusting feeling on you afterwards. You never feel great about it. You never feel like you achieved something. So we're going to definitely end it on there. Any information that has come, any disinformation that has come from me, any information that empowers the people and that is truthful, that has come through me from the big man upstairs. So we're going to end it on that, man. We're going to go over sex transmutation and defeating semen, all that. We're going to go through it and we're going to keep learning, keep growing, and of course, putting this all into action, man. Zay out.